the Racket Audio 18 second hour. And lots of things to do, lots of things to talk about. Talking with all of you as well. 215-609-4315 in Philadelphia.
Killer phones.
Killer phones, perhaps. We'll see. New York, 718-841-7702. And Hollywood, 213-291-6893. Reach out and touch us. And we'll have a conversation. We'll chat it up. Lots of things on the table tonight, and maybe even some things we haven't thought about. So if you think that our topics suck and you can do better, try it. I dare you. And I mean that. I really think that would be nice.
Speaking of lotion.
What's that?
Putting lotion on your hands there.
When were we speaking of lotion?
Earlier in the
oh, that's right.
show.
What was it? The
record reps coming.
Yes, yes. They have little lotions in the bags with their 40. Well, I guess it wouldn't be 45s anymore. The little CDs in the paper sleeves. They're not in the plastic jewel cases anymore. I hate those damn things. I had my one of my favorite CDs, my Elvis Costello and the Attraction CD. I think it's actually sitting right behind you there, Roscoe. Fell off the table and the jewel case shattered into a number of pieces. And
looks okay to me.
Well, open it up and you'll see. The little teeth, the sprockets.
Oh, yeah, these things always... I don't know who was the brainiac who decided to...
Isn't the CD jewel case one of the poorest designed things you've ever seen in your life?
Yeah.
And I take very good care of my compact discs. I have thousands of them. And that CD I've had for 11 or 12 years. And finally, just this week, fell off the table. The plastic shatters. The door no longer... The teeth that hold the door part in... I can't even describe. I'm a mush-mouthed idiot.
What kind of a world do we live in?
Let's go to the phones. Should we do that?
Sure.
And we'll designate the Los Angeles line. Now, let's designate the Philly line after we take these calls. Now, the Los Angeles line. After we take this round of calls, we are going to designate the Los Angeles line as the Where is the Apple HD radio unit. It was sort of like we're on a search mission. We're looking for this Apple HD radio combined unit. Because remember, it was only a couple of weeks ago that Head and Ass said, pretty soon, every iPod sold will have an HD radio.
This is like our version of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
Exactly. Oh, why was I about to call you Joe? I was about to say, Joe!
Joe?
Kyle, you found the thread I was looking for, I believe, right?
Page 2. It's on page 2.
We need to do this now because I forgot. The radio info is going down. It's going south.
Yeah, it's called HD Radio Fails Miserably.
All right. I like the way the... did I say this on the air, or was this during a phone call, where any new thread title on that board should have some kind of negative connotation to just to upset them? I think it would be very funny. Although one of the funniest thread titles I've seen on there in a long time, Give Peace and HD a Chance.
Yeah.
all we are saying is give peace and HD a chance. Oh, John Lennon would be proud. I wonder if there are HD radios in heaven.
I watched that.
Then again, Lennon said, "Imagine there was no heaven," so maybe he's not there. I don't know.
I watched that documentary made back in '88 called "Imagine."
Right.
It was on HDNet. Very good. He was a fascinating individual.
Let's see here. I need to find this because I'm sorry. I know we said we would go to the phones, but I realized we need to do this first because the radio info is going down. All right. Let's see here. Now, you know what I'm looking for, right? Are you sure it's on the second page?
Yep. Second page, HD radio fails miserably. There's a thumbs up next to it.
Okay, but it's is it the first?
Thumbs down.
It's the first page.
I like it.
Of that thread, though. I clicked on page 2 of the thread.
Yeah, first page of the thread. First page of the thread.
Here we go. All right, here we go. Now we're in business. Thank you, Kyle. Kyle found it.
For those of you following at home.
This is for... I guess Play Freebird wrote this. Now, this is going back about a week or two, but it warrants paraphrasing here. This was in response to, I guess, an HD fan who took the plunge, literally, bought the HD radio, and said, hey, guys, I'm really excited about my HD radio, but I need some help. I can't get any stations, so I don't know what to do. And after some berating, you're not doing it right, you stupid idiot.
It's like buying a car without any wheels.
Play Freebird comes to the rescue and says, well, I'm paraphrasing. It's not that difficult. We'll get you in business. I have some tips for you.
This is
good. And I think what we should
phenomenal.
do is we should retype this up, right, and send it out as a little placard, and take this to the Radio Shacks and the Best Buys and the Walmarts.
I think it needs to be a poster.
So, like a poster. You know how the federal and the state governments mandate that employers have certain posters in the lunchroom? These are your rights. We need to put a poster together, and it should be displayed, because remember, at Walmart, Kmart, Best Buy, the Circus City, if they want to sell an analog TV, they have to put the sign that says, you buy this at your own risk, but it's not going to get any channels by next year. So maybe every HD radio sold, if there were any retailers selling them, should have a poster up saying, this is how, if you can't get any stations between the stations, before you return the item and screw one of our sales guys out of his commission, try these simple, very simple tips that most likely will fix the problem. And this is not much to ask. I don't imagine the average consumer having a problem with this. Make a very effective sleeve dipole antenna. Nothing more than a 15-foot scrap of RG6 coax cable, and make sure there's an F connector on one end, a ferrite bead, 1 inch long, 7/16 in OD, with a 1/4 in ID hole.
Are you suggesting
it only takes about 10 minutes.
Are you suggesting the average person doesn't have this stuff lying around their garage?
Well, I'm sure that they should.
Well, of course.
Now, here is the recipe. Not difficult.
He had me at ferrite bead.
Not much to ask. Measure 29 inches from the free end of the cable.
Exactly 29 inches.
Carefully cut through the jacket shielding foil and braid and the foam dielectric, being careful not to damage the inner conductor, of course. Go back an inch toward the free end and cut through the jacket only. Unravel the braid, remove the foil and the dielectric between the two cuts to expose the inner conductor. Then twist the braid wires together and short them to the inner conductor. If the braid is copper, you should solder it to the inner conductor, but most of today's RG6 has an aluminum braid, at which point you would need to find a small piece of metal that you could crimp around the braid wires so that they can make a secure connection to the inner conductor at this point.
You know, George, I have a ham radio license. I've built antennas, and I have no idea what this guy's talking about.
Unfortunately, we're not even half done.
But wait, there's more.
If you followed up until now and done exactly as he's saying, you're on the road to stations between the stations, but you're not quite there yet. Make sure the shield on the outer portion of the cable is not shorting the inner conductor. Slide the ferrite bead over the free end and position it 57 inches down.
57.
Tape it in place, and also tape over the jacket cut you made in step 2. Now we need you to connect the F connector to your FM radio and enjoy improved reception. Now, is that so much to ask?
Exactly.
Is that so much to ask?
I read this, and I was just flabbergasted. I mean, he makes it sound like, anyone should be able to do this.
HD radio. A lot of people are saying, what is it? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm telling you, is that so much to ask?
If you love talk radio, but you're always frustrated with that AM station.
Then you take the ferrite bead.
If you love building antennas.
Oh, man.
Maybe you have a talk radio. Maybe you have hip-hop music.
Correct.
You might have contemporary Christian music. It's more content, more of what you want. There are stock market reports, traffic reports.
I'm still looking for those.
Yeah.
If you get an HD radio, do you get instant 24-hour traffic reports? Do you realize?
KYW on YSP HD2.
Remember
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I can get that already for free. Remember the Blaupunkt Ari system. Now, I'm going back. Some of our listeners have no idea what I'm talking about. Some of our co-hosts have no idea what I'm talking about, right?
Say again, please.
What?
Find out in the chat, does anyone remember the Blaupunkt Ari system?
I remember Blaupunkt, yeah.
Well, no, Blaupunkt is still around, but the Blaupunkt Ari system. For traffic reports. See if let's give them a few minutes and see if anyone in the chat remembers that. And I'll tell you in a moment why that is relevant.
They're fighting with Mike Phillips. They're not listening to the show.
Well, that's important, of course.
Yes.
You know, it's very important to. Yeah. In fact, maybe everyone who's more preoccupied with Mike Phillips should just shut off the stream because save me some bandwidth, and then you could argue you could take it to Audio 7. And live it up over there.
Let's go back to building an antenna, George.
Yeah, so, Roscoe, can you build me the ferrite bead antenna since you have the experience in doing that?
I know I have coax. I have the RG6 coax at home.
And remember, you know how to strip the various, as he said, the inner conductor and the outer, and solder.
Yeah.
You solder, right?
Some of this stuff actually does make sense, because I've built antennas in the past.
Yeah, well, and everyone has. Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. The point being that the average
person
buying an HD radio is never going to even do the first step of any of this.
Put it this way. The average American, I would venture to say 95+% of Americans has not dealt with an antenna
in 30 years.
1978.
Yeah.
And seriously.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It comes down to cable penetration. The television rabbit ears were generally the most recent antennae that anyone would have worked with. So once cable penetration in areas soared past 60-70%, and in areas here in the Philadelphia suburbs, 97%, this stuff is completely foreign. And even the people who don't have cable usually just plug a very rudimentary piece of coax, like I do. I actually know how antennas work. And I just have a piece of coax sticking halfway into the jack to get channel 3, 6, and 10. Because the fancy antennas don't do anything for me because I'm in a valley for UHF. So there. I want to do a quick remix, and then we're going to the phones.
Maybe you have a talk radio. Maybe you have hip-hop music.
Let's go to Diamond. It just stops cold.
That didn't work out as well. All right, well, I was listening to the guy, and I said he is a mush-mouthed idiot. All right, so the Los Angeles line after this round of phone calls will be designated the hunt for HD iPods, HD radio iPods, or HD radio integrated into any Apple product, as the HD cheerleaders so aptly pointed out was just around the corner. Los Angeles line first on the Radio Racket.
Hello.
Who's this?
Mark in Connecticut.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much.
Smoking some weed?
Yeah, you sound a little high.
I was earlier.
So you're not taking our advice from last week?
You've relapsed.
Your eyes are all bloodshot, aren't they?
No.
I'm in a good place.
But I got content this week.
Okay, good, because I've had enough discussion of your extracurricular activities for a month. What's on your mind tonight, Mark?
You sharing the weed with Pumpkin?
I checked out the new Jerry Christopher morning show on DRC FM this past couple of weeks.
I'm sorry, the who?
The new Jerry Christopher morning show on DRC in Hartford.
Come on, George, don't you know Hartford Radio?
Now, is that DRC AM or FM?
FM.
Oh, okay. And is it any good?
Yeah.
What is it?
I enjoy it.
Thank you.
It's a mix. It's a lot of. It's a big. It's a mixture of music and talk. Even though they said they weren't going to play much music.
All right, let's go back to the drug references.
Mark,
content is good, but it's not good for everybody. So, why did you relapse?
I don't know.
you do sound more mellow on the phone.
Now, are you getting good stuff, or is it swag, or what's the deal?
And what's it setting you back?
I don't know. I'm not buying the shit.
Well, that's the best. But that's how it all starts.
Yeah,
you know?
Mark, I'm just curious. Why are you still doing this? Because you feel you have something to prove to other listeners of the show?
No.
Because that's what you said last week.
No, I'm just doing it because my friend does it. That's why.
Well, that's a good reason. That's a very good reason. Yeah.
Isn't that how it always starts?
So do you feel that this is helping out things in your life? Are you dealing with your mother better now? Does it not hurt as much when she beats you?
No, she's mad at me.
Why is she mad at you?
She don't want me hanging out with this kid that's smoking pot.
Now,
Well, maybe you should share some of your weed with her.
Does she know? Has she figured out that you're now engaging in the activity?
No.
All right, we have. Let's turn this into a Jerry Springer or a Maury Povich. We have your mother on line 5.
She'd kick the living piss out of me.
Now, are you smoking joints out of a bowl or a bong? What's the deal?
Bowl.
You're doing the bowl.
Now, you can't do this prior to walking into the price chopper, right?
I think you do.
I haven't done that.
So you've never gone to work high?
I'm not saying that either.
Well, what is it? Did you do it or didn't you?
It was last week. I still feeling the effects from the night before.
From the night before? How much were you smoking?
It's impossible.
I went to work at 11 o'clock, and I had smoked it at 2 o'clock that morning.
Now, are you planning on moving up to crack?
No.
What about heroin?
Cocaine?
No, my friend doesn't do any of that shit.
Mushrooms?
Yeah, what about the shrooms?
LSD?
No.
Maybe you can
Acid?
you can get your supervisor to see if maybe you can sell the shrooms at the price chopper.
No.
Or what about, like, self-mutilation? You can start cutting yourself up.
No, that's freaky.
Okay. You hear that, Jeff? It's freaky.
So, Mark, we might... Do you watch A&E at all?
Yeah.
You ever see the show Intervention?
Yeah.
I think we might have to have it.
This will be the first time there's ever been an intervention for someone who's only smoked pot for 1 week. His life has gone down the drain.
I'm not doing it every day.
I think you are.
I'm not doing it every day.
The rodent said that it's becoming an everyday thing with you.
Do you really think marijuana is the right choice for you? I mean,
Mark.
you're already pushing $4 bills. I mean, the munchies is not good for someone.
Yeah, that's going to make it only worse.
Mark, where did you get this stuff?
Where did you learn how to do this stuff?
Yeah, all right. Can you say that for me, and then I'll splice it in? I just need you to say it right now, all right, in the clear. Mark, I want you to say, can you do this for me?
I guess.
All right. I want you to say, repeat after me. You all right? Say it.
Huh?
Repeat after me, Mark, please. You all right?
No.
No. You all right? I learned it by watching you. That's what I need you to say.
No.
All right, I got to hang up on you then. Thank you. I mean, if you can't do a simple favor for me after all we've done for him,
For Pete's sake.
is that so much to ask?
But seriously.
Mark, have you changed your mind?
I don't want to talk about this right now.
Well, you brought it up.
Oh, Mark,
No, I think Kyle brought it up.
If we got non-content, I got some non-content about Price Chopper.
All right, let's talk about the price
We
chopper.
just don't want you to turn into the next Heath Ledger, that's all.
Kim is, in fact, coming back. Just no date yet.
So the rumors are true. We read about this on All Access, of course, last week. Kim is coming back to the price chopper.
Yep, but
And-
Tanya's still saying.
What will she be doing? Will she be doing the same
Mark B.
the same
exits.
position? Mark B. exits.
Yeah, well-
Reach out to him at the trailer.
He'll be at Mobile on the run.
Kim will be the boss, but Tanya won't be boss anymore.
So wait, is this a demotion? She was transferred to another location, correct?
Kim went to Waterbury. Now she's coming back to Southington.
Why is she coming back? Is Southington a bigger market?
Yeah.
Literally?
No, Waterbury's
Yeah.
bigger.
Waterbury's a bigger market?
Waterbury's a bigger city, but Southington's a bigger store.
Oh, so that's quite a quandary.
Well, maybe it's just because they have bigger people in Southington.
Yeah, are the aisles wider?
No.
No. Okay. Now, you were saying earlier in the chat that you were already dealing with some of the repercussions from ratting out your friends because of their discussion in the parking lot. You may remember a couple of weeks ago, Mark in Connecticut was telling us a story about how he went outside for some fresh air. Interesting now how someone who's now smoking pot in the garage every night needs to go out for fresh air during,
Now he's smoking in the carport.
during his shift.
Outside the trailer.
But Mark was saying that he went out for fresh air and was disturbed that some of his male coworkers he overheard having a private conversation of a very prurient nature. So he went in and ratted on them and was trying to get them. You filed a sexual harassment complaint, correct?
Correct.
And they suspended a couple of them for a day.
Yeah, and they all admitted they were guilty, too.
They admitted their guilt on the stand. Yes, we were talking about that sexual activity. Okay, so
how's it feel to be a rat?
I feel like Jeff. You know my friend Jeff the rodent?
Is that why they call him that?
Part of it.
Oh.
So he rats on people. And there's talk that you're going to have to worry about these guys retaliating for what you did. Are you worried about it?
Yeah.
And do they know that you do the marijuana?
No.
Well, they do now because they have dirt on you now. All right, I grow weary of this. Anything else, Mark? Are you still coming down here?
Yeah.
And when is that happening?
Do you plan on smoking pot down here?
You know the studios are smoke-free, right?
Yeah, even I can't even smoke cigarettes here.
No, I'm not. I won't be doing nothing like that when I come down. Come down in May.
So you're planning on giving this up before the trip down here?
Yeah, just wait till it starts dealing.
Yeah, I mean, you bring pot down here. You're transporting illegal products over state lines.
Yeah, that's another offense.
It's a felony.
Now it becomes a federal offense.
Yeah.
I'm not even doing that shit. And I'm joining a gym next week.
I'm sorry, we shouldn't be laughing. That's wrong. Guy's trying to better himself, and we're laughing at him.
Trying to combat the munchies, so he's got to work out. He's got to work out so he can keep.
It is
smoking
true
pot.
though. You can lose weight smoking, Mark.
I'm joining the gym and going to try to lose 40 pounds before I come down there.
Well, it's good to set goals for yourself.
Do you do this because you feel you need to impress us?
No.
Got to impress Amber.
I'm doing this for myself.
Well, that's good. That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
I'm trying to better myself.
Well, you're on the right path with the new pot smoking initiative that you're taking. So. All right. Well, aren't you?
Okay,
you know your mother's going to find out sooner or later, though, right? You do know that.
Yeah, I guess.
You guess? No, it's happening. You think she doesn't know that look in your eye?
No.
That daze that, well, he's always in a daze, but that, the way you talk, even right now, you sound very, very mellow.
Mellow, yeah. Aren't you afraid the pumpkin's going to rat you out?
No.
I mean, you thought you had no chance of getting the inheritance before. Once they find out that you got a reefer addict here, it's not definitely not going to happen.
I'm going to get you in touch with Jeff Van Vonderen. He's an interventionist. We're going to get this taken care of.
How about that? Let's get Dr. Phil.
I only do it like twice a week. Not like I'm doing it every day.
Yeah, but see, Mark, that's how it starts.
Yeah, but you went the first 25 years not doing it at all, and now already he's doing it twice a week.
I smoked it 8 years ago once.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Beat it like the new Cheech and Chong.
Yeah. All right, well.
See, he's got a cough already.
Yeah,
he's been smoking pot for a week.
Yep. I don't know, Mark. Not good. Not good at all. I don't know. We're worried about you. See, some people I think can handle this better.
Yeah, Mark, I got to admit, I've lost a little bit of respect for you. Just a little bit.
Well, I'm more concerned about the fact that he's so openly telling anyone who will listen. That is something I think you need to be careful about.
Wait till he starts shooting people. I shot someone.
I mean, you know this stuff is, I mean, you can get in trouble for this. I'm not saying I agree with the fact that you should get in trouble. I don't. I believe what you do with your own life is your business. But
threw the body in the Hartford River.
We almost got busted. We almost got busted this afternoon.
Oh, okay. Well, then, by all means, keep doing it then.
Where did you almost get busted?
My friend drove by a cop when he was smoking this shit.
That's a great idea. You were smoking in the car while you were driving?
I wasn't driving. My friend was driving.
Was he smoking?
Yeah.
That's a great choice in life.
Mark, remind me, how old are you?
25.
Okay.
Yeah, I did this shit when we were 18.
He's turning 26 the week that he's coming down here, he said. And who are you bringing down here?
Happy birthday, by the way.
Probably,
Now, you know these other people aren't coming to the show, right? You do know that, Mark, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to lock them in the motel room and let them...
So you're still coming even though we're going to the Yankees game that weekend?
And you weren't invited in the first place?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, Mark...
I'm bringing two people, probably.
Okay, well, exit question. What music do you listen to when you're doing this? It's for market research.
I don't listen to nothing.
I think he's listening to WXCT.
We do it, and most of the time we
Bob
do
Marley.
it in my friend's garage. and we just talk when we do it.
I got a Rasta hat.
So there's no music playing?
No.
What about the theme to The Price is Right or something? You're not listening to anything goofy like that?
Bob Marley Legend.
The Spanish programming or WXCT?
Most of the time we just do it in his garage and that's it.
I'm getting my hair braided.
It's probably not a good idea to smoke marijuana and drive.
I got dreads.
All right. Well,
I don't have any hair theory. I shaved it all off.
Aren't you worried that Charlie Prophet's going to be disappointed in you?
Yeah, really. Charlie's your hero. You know he's not going to be happy about this.
Because I'm sure he's listening, or if he's not, he'll find out.
Does Charlie know your mother?
Oh.
No, Charlie does not know my mother.
But we have his mother's home phone number, her direct line, remember?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
We have it, so I'm thinking I have one open line here, maybe...
And it wouldn't be too difficult to find out where Mark lives.
Mrs. B?
You're going to be waking her up if you call her.
Oh, that's okay.
She wants to hear this
She needs to know about this. All right, hold on. We're calling your mother. I need to get the phone number here.
So even.
Is it still 860 something, something, something? Yeah.
That's the area code for Connecticut.
All right, hold on, Mark. We're going to call her after the break. Just hold on. Listen to him. Listen to him.
Cough already.
All right. Actually, I'm going to free up the line first, Mark. So we'll call your mother from the other line. All right?
Yeah.
Mark, this needs to be done. I'm sorry.
It's for your own good.
I'm sorry. If
you
ratted out those other people, so we're ratting out you.
Yeah. Hey, what goes
What's
around?
good for the goose is good for the gander.
What goes around comes around, Mark.
All right.
We're just trying to help you out, man. We got to get you on the straight and narrow.
I quit once, I can quit again.
Well, that's what they all say.
No. I mean, look at me. How long have I been smoking? It's just, I'm telling you, the tobacco.
I was saying, I haven't done it in 8 years since last week.
And look how easily you slipped back in.
I'll stop again.
860-4.
He really does sound like one of those guys you see in the interventions, though, doesn't he?
Now,
I stopped it once, I can stop it again.
My name's Mark.
Mark,
I have a problem.
Are you going to be around? I forgot to call you last Sunday. You going to be around this weekend? I still want to try to help you. I still want to try to help you with a job. What's a better day, tomorrow or Sunday?
Sunday.
All right, I will try to remember to call you.
What if he has to take the pee test, though? Wouldn't that be ironic? You get him a job, and then it's the pot smoking. He can't take the job because of the urine.
I came back positive.
There should not
Listen
be.
to him hacking up in the background.
There shouldn't be any drug tests
All right.
for the job I'm talking about.
Okay, would he have to move?
No.
Oh, I was hoping he would be moving down here and shacking up with Brian in Pittsburgh.
No.
Brian, you got to smoke this. It's really good.
I won't do that.
Hey, guys, no.
Wait a minute, how do I get his vision back?
I was just about to say, if it's laced with something... I'm seeing things, guys, I'm seeing things for the first time.
Guys, this is crazy.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Colors everywhere.
Be listening later. We'll be calling your mom. I think you should wake her up first.
Yeah.
You should wake her up first to let her know that this is happening. Call. Just go in the room and you just say, Ma, wake up.
I did something I'm not proud of.
You're going to hear about it in the 1 o'clock hour. After the news.
All right, Mark.
We'll be talking to you in about an hour and a half.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you. Yeah, this has to be done because I wouldn't have done it if Mark hadn't ratted out the other people. But if Mark's going to be a rat, then we're going to be bigger rats.
Yeah.
He thinks this rodent is a rat. He hasn't seen rodents.
Open up and taste your own medicine.
So, that's the way it's got to be. It's for your own good. I'm sorry, Mark, but thank you. So be listening in the 1 o'clock hour. We're calling Mark's mother. New York line on the Radio Racket.
Well, that's the last time he'll call up and talk about smoking pot.
No, I don't think it is, Larry. I don't think it is because even after this, what's going to happen is we're going to call his mother, and his mother's going to be very upset. There probably will be some abuse, and after that,
he's going to have to get high.
He'll have to get high, and it's the cycle, you know. It's the vicious circle. Hey, Larry, are you using a different telephone?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you sound different.
Very processed.
No, it sounds like a digital cell phone is what it sounds like.
Oh, is that? Oh, God. No, it isn't.
It's
Believe
not?
me, it isn't.
What is it?
I mean, am I underwater or anything?
No, is it a Vonage?
No, it's a guy. I think it's an old... I don't even remember. I got this at a radio station. The guy gave it to me.
Now, there's your problem.
You know what it sounds like?
It is, yeah.
It sounds like that contraption we used to use at WILM for the remotes with the big rotary dial on it from like the 60s that we were lugging around. That's what it sounds like.
Really? Well, I'm sorry.
You're supposed to say, really, just like Brian in Pittsburgh. Really.
Really.
What's happening, Larry? Now, do you know about back-to-back Connecticut calls? Are you familiar with this DRC show that Mark was talking about?
Well, they don't stream, but the guy, Jerry Christopher, used to be on KC 101 a long time ago, and he was good, but then he was doing talk on WELI for a while, but the FM in Hartford doesn't stream. So
okay.
Yeah, you're out of the signal range, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, George, just anyone in Connecticut can obviously hear all the same stations. It is a bigger state. Connecticut's one of those states that seems so much bigger once you're in it, kind of like Delaware.
By the way, one thing Mark got right was, did you see the thing on the forum about the Clear Channel having to sell the modern rock station in Hartford?
Yeah, I was surprised Mark didn't bring that up. Maybe he wanted to, but then we scared him by telling him. He's all bugging out now.
No, he did. He put a post on the message board today, I think.
Yeah, apparently Channel 8...
Yeah, but he didn't bring it up during the call.
During the call.
Apparently Channel 8 in New Haven got the call letters wrong when issuing it, and they say it was WSHU, which is the NPR station in southern Connecticut.
So the TV station gave out misinformation about...
I remember all the call letters, Joe.
They didn't.
Okay.
Are the only call letters
WURH.
still being used today?
So yeah, a non-radio media outlet screwing up call letters of a radio station. That's something that happens every day.
Yeah.
Even if you look at the phone book, you see all of these. It was only a few years ago when the phone books out here were still listing a WCAU-FM sales office in the Channel 10 building.
I'm not worried about the 50,000 watt.
By the way, if you want to get back to the original topic, if you want to get back to the audio on hold, sounds really compressed, especially during the spots.
Really?
Yeah.
More than usual.
Yep.
I wonder why. We haven't changed anything. Maybe it's your funky phone, Larry.
Maybe my funky
yeah.
phone.
Oh, sure. Blame the listeners, George.
Maybe. Well, it's better than blaming myself.
So I want to talk about this board up thing. I've been thinking about it, and you guys remember when a board up was, I use the term loosely, a secure position in radio, but it was, there was more to do. What would a board op do now? And they can't be done elsewhere. There isn't a need anymore.
You could read a book. You could watch some television.
I've done lots of reading at radio stations
that had board ops.
I'll never forget. I took a job, and I was there very briefly doing just a weekend music shift. And this was about 7 or 8 years ago. And the program director calls me on the phone. He says, "Make sure you bring a book." I said, "What do you mean, what book?" He says, "Make sure you bring a book." Or
ratings book?
I'm like, yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, bring a book. What do you mean, bring a book?
I didn't know I have access to the arbitrage.
And he says, or a newspaper or magazine. I said, why? He's like, well, it's a 5-hour shift. What are you going to do? I said, my shift. It's like, oh, no, we're all automated. I said, well, then what do you need me for? Well, 3 times an hour, there's a little card, and you need to read it.
You're right, George. Stay home.
But this doesn't. They don't get into. This has nothing to do with localism in radio or anything. I know they're basing it on what happened in Minot, North Dakota, a few years ago.
Is it Minot or Minot? I've heard it pronounced both ways.
Minot.
It is Minot.
Yeah.
But that's not going to solve anything. And I think that the smaller operators have a very legitimate.
Well, I would like to know what Dave Madhouse thinks about this, because this would affect him.
I understand your point, Larry, and your point, George, are essentially the same point. But what did these stations do prior to computer automation?
I'm going to tell you, and this is what they're saying. A lot of this could happen if these stations are forced. Now, it doesn't sound like it's a big expense. What's minimum wage right now?
7, 10,
15.
Wow, it's up to 7. So, okay, so let's just say $7 an hour times...
I'm living large.
10, well, for him, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's 8 hours times 7 and change. That's, you figure, $60 a night. Times times 7 nights a week, right? So that's, what is that? I can't do math. I feel like Trish right now. $70, oh no, $60 times 7 nights a week. That's $420. $420. How appropriate for the marijuana show.
Maybe I can get that job.
I want that job because it pays $420 a week. Minimum wage would have been $4.28, but I said no. I want $4.20.
I can remember that.
But think about that though. Everyone's saying, well, a radio station can handle $7 an hour. Well, wait a minute. $420 a week. That's like $2,500 a month. And a lot of these stations, if you're a small operation, if you're a small 1,000-watt AM station in the middle of nowhere, small operator, and you're only billing $9,000, $10,000 in revenue a month, to have to suddenly pay $2,500 salary that you never had to pay before, that you're not going to get anything out of it. It's not like you're going to be able to generate more revenue by doing that, right? You're not going to see that money back. So what is going to happen? Roscoe's question, what were these stations doing? I'm going to tell you what they were doing. They were doing like what WNPV in Lansdale did. They would go off the air at 10 p.m. and not come on until 6 a.m. WSNJ for years signed off at midnight. These stations said, fine, if we have to staff the whole time we're on the air, we're going to turn the transmitter off. And that's what they did. And that's what many of them will end up doing. And then you defeat the purpose about having another minute, because what good is it if the disaster happens and the station's off the air? You may as well have the automated ESPN radio programming at night. That's how I see it.
And they will anyway.
Sure they will.
That's
because
not going to change.
You're not getting a $7 an hour board op to become the next Jimbo Hannon or Art Bell. Let's face it.
Are these mom and pop stations making money in the overnight? I mean, would it matter if they went off the air?
Probably not, but that's my point. They're going to end up going off the air, and then you defeat the purpose. The whole point of doing this was so if there's a disaster at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's someone on the air to report it. You defeat the purpose if the station is not even on the air.
But, George, everybody's asleep at 3 in the morning.
Well, that's another thing. Larry, you're an overnight person like I am, correct?
Yes.
How does it make you feel when you see these morons on the board, and not just on the boards, people in radio, saying that the overnights are a throwaway, Arbitron doesn't even rate them, we're not going to sell them, we're just going to give filler programming, nobody's awake during the overnight, so, screw all of you, we're second and third class citizens.
Makes as much sense to me as, well, nobody listens to radio after 7 p.m., so we'll voice track it,
Yeah, it used to be the overnights. No one listened on the overnights, and then they pushed it up to after 10 p. Now no one listens after 7 p.m. Well, at 7 p.m. everyone's watching TV. Well, if you really feel that way, then shut the transmitter off.
You would think of me, but, somebody, it was Scott Feibush on a DX list. He was talking about IBIC-Whitey. I mean, that'll give them more opportunity to, the big signals to run IBOC at night and everything, and, it's just,
It's ridiculous, but
ridiculous.
Then you've got the others saying, well, the AM band, it's overcrowded, so maybe we need to thin the herd. Let these stations shut off at 10 p.m. You really think that's going to make more people buy a radio or listen to the radio? Stations now going off the air. I mean, what is this, 1967? Stations going off the air? Remember TV stations all used to sign off the air.
I miss those days.
I miss those days, too, definitely.
Well, you just miss it because you miss the broadcasting on a frequency of blankety-blank, effective radiated power.
No, it's just very cool to see a major market signal go to snow all of a sudden,
Yeah, a lot of the stations, even until only about 10 years ago in Philadelphia, Sunday nights would be the nights that they would still sign off, except Channel 10. But now, with the automation, everyone is on all night. And with the radio, when they did away with the 24-hour staffing rules, these stations put in the computers or the big carousel automation. Remember the carousel with the carts?
My God, yeah.
You could hear the thing shifting from down the hall.
Just a side note, that radio info shutdown is 12:01 Central, so we still have another hour.
Oh, okay, so they're going to wait for the special news.
Yes.
It's Central Time. I didn't realize that. Well, Larry, anything else happening?
Anything else? By the way, did you notice a few weeks ago that CBS Radio, talking about that, they were always stuff about oldies and classic hits. Now they have the Vice President of Classic Hits Programming, an official position at CBS Radio. Boy, how things change.
Now, what does a all right, I need to do this. Vice President of Classic, who, pray tell, is it?
It's Brian Thomas, the guy who's programming CBS.
All right, so Brian Thomas is now the Vice President of Classic Hits Programming for the entire CBS radio chain. Now,
get Duluth on the phone.
Walk me through the day of a Vice President of Classic Hits. What do? I'm the Vice President of Classic Hits. That's like me saying I'm the mayor of King of Prussia.
I make sure all the stations are rocking with your favorite classic hits.
I mean, I can see somebody sitting at his desk and smoke is like pouring out of his head as he's trying to decide, well, we played Whole Lotta Love 41 times last week. I think we should cut it down to 38.
That may be too many spins.
And maybe up Misty Mountain Hop a couple of spins.
Oh, no, that's revolutionary, yeah.
Well, I've got to tell you, It's working in Boston, and if it's working in Boston...
It'll work in Fresno.
It'll work in Fresno, right?
Oh, man.
We'll play it 41 times in Philadelphia and 42 times in Boston.
What does the vice president of classic hits... Is that like Superman? Does he got a cape? Does he wear... I'm the vice president of classic hits. I'm shoving Jerry Rafferty records down everyone's throat as the vice president of classic hits. More Todd Rundgren for America, more ELO, and maybe some Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, because I am the head of classic hits.
I look at some of these positions in radio where... And there's a lot of them where you sort of just scratch your head and you say to yourself, what do these guys do all day? And if I'm sitting in one of those chairs, I'm saving all my salary. I'm saving every single dime I'm making, because there's going to come a day where someone's going to realize you really don't do anything.
I want to do the... You know how you have the take your kid to work day where the kid shadows the job of the adult?
They'll do that while I'm drinking.
I think that's what we need to do. I want to shadow one of these guys for a week, and I want to know what goes on during the course of the week.
3-hour lunch.
I would really like
2-hour morning breakfast meeting.
If there's any daring major market PD out there, I want to be your apprentice for a... Well, no, I'm not going to be. I'm not going to do anything for you. I'm going to shadow. I'm just going to hang out and observe, take some notes. I dare you. Give me a call.
What will become of the notes you take and everything? Where do they go? Into the shredder? or it gives you more content for the show?
It's more content. We can't be talking about Mark and his trailer smoking pot every week. So we're going to need to talk about something else relatively soon. But think about that, everyone, though. $2,500 a month to a station that's only billing $9,000 or $10,000 a month. An extra burden of 25% is going to put some of these stations under. So they're going to end up signing off at night, and that's what's going to end up happening. This 24-hour thing, while I like the spirit of it, in actuality, I don't see how this does any good for anybody.
And I feel sorry saying that, because you guys did it. I did that too for years, that kind of board ups and stuff.
Oh, sure. I once board up for you, Jeff, at one of your stations, right? So you could talk to girls on the request line one time.
True story.
I went to visit Jeff one time up in Rhode Island, and I ended up board-opping Art Bell.
Thank you, by the way.
I remember the news guy. Remember when stations had their own news departments? The news guy came in the next morning, and he's like, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm the new guy." "Oh, where's Jeff?" "He quit." "I thought I saw his car out there." "Yeah, he's here. He's in the building, but I'm just running the show." I was so tempted to just crack open the mic. Did I do it? I don't think I did it.
You may have.
I may have. It does sound like something I would do.
Live copy occasionally.
Look, I'm Jeff Ryan. It is 42 degrees, and now more of Art Bell on Coast to Coast AM. What was that? That was about 9-10 years ago, right?
1998.
98? Yeah. Wow. Well, Larry, thank you. It's good to know that you're still well. We've missed hearing from you in the last few weeks.
Well, you've had a busy show.
Yeah. Well, are you saying tonight's show's not busy?
Oh, I know we get away with that. No, it is very busy. Very content, and even Mark in Connecticut. That's non-content, right?
And Larry, you're not taking Mark's lead, are you?
Are you kidding? What is that? Why Mark always sounds like he's in delay or something like that when he answers questions?
Well, no, because he just started this last week or the week before, right? So
new hobby.
That doesn't explain. That doesn't account for his previous bizarre behavior. Must be something else.
I'm stressed out because I'm not getting anything in the will.
We must find out. There's got to be something else going on there. I had a Mike's Hard Lemonade 3 years ago. I'm still feeling the effects.
Seriously,
I hate to do a self-promotion about something I put in the forum. Did you guys see my post about the dumbest comment made on a message board?
I haven't looked at the board for the most part in a couple of days. Did anyone else see it?
I did see it, yeah.
Yeah, I really think what this was, briefly, was... It was on the dentist board. It was about somebody wrote, why is WABC spending so much time broadcasting Seton Hall University basketball games? It interrupts from the normal talk format, and it's not a good programming decision. And there were people making comments. And apparently Citadel signed a contract to put all the Seton Hall games on WABC as opposed to Radio Disney and, moving it around the dial and stuff. Anyway, so somebody wrote, I think the comment was something like, keep putting on things that will make money, and soon you won't have any listeners.
Well, that's true. Isn't it?
Right. put out things to make money, and you won't have any listeners.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The whole point is, well, we need to jack up revenue, and they do it at the expense of listenership, and pretty soon you jack up the revenue and you turn into a John Forsythe station. Of course, he's still making money, yet has no listeners.
Yeah, but you can make the same argument. A lot of these small market stations are doing like high school football games, interrupting, regular programming.
Yeah, but again, it's because they make a mint, but the difference there is stations do high school football because they know they can sell the hell out of it to local advertisers, whereas deals like this WABC Seton Hall thing, I would imagine it's either outright brokered, call and blow, it's outright brokered, right? A lot of the sports are, or they're, I guess, selling the hell out of that too. But
gotta
of course,
pay for Mr. Imus.
But of course, yeah, exactly. They need to pay for Don Imus.
I don't work for
but
free.
Yeah, of course, people who like talk radio hate it when these stations pick up these collegiate events.
But I thought it was dumb because radio's a business. I mean, I just thought it was a ridiculous way to put it.
Who cares if you have listeners as long as you're making the money? Look at John Forsythe.
That reminds me of when Bob Grant was at WABC back before he got fired the first time.
Get off my phone.
He would purposely get on the air and root against the Yankees because any time that they ended up in the postseason, it was just more time he was off the air. I hope those guys lose.
And he used to be a sportscaster, too.
Yeah.
Larry, I'm up against the news. Good to hear from you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take care, Larry. Larry S. on the Big Time Audio broadcast. And that frees up the New York line, 718-417-7702. Time for the news. That hour flew by. News time.
My Lord, it did.
On the Radio Racket. Sonic said owned and operated 18 America. And when we come back, news and comment, other topics to talk about, calling Mark's mother. It's all on the flip side. Stay with us.